Hey guys, welcome back. Caitlin here, and happy Erin Condren Teacher Planner Launch Week. So I posted earlier about the Erin Condren Teacher Planner. They sent me a box of goodies so that I could show them to you. So if you want to see the teacher planner and the insides and all of that stuff for Launch Week, go check out that video. I will link it. But I also want to do a separate video and show you how I, as a homeschool mom, use the Erin Condren Teacher Planner. Now, I am a former classroom teacher, but that was before that I knew Erin Condren had teacher planners, or maybe they didn't even have them yet. I'm not sure. So I never used it as a classroom teacher, but I have ever since I started homeschooling. I have used it as a homeschool planner, and I just wanted to show you kind of like how I plan it out. My kids are second grade and kindergarten. My oldest two, have younger ones also, but second grade and kindergarten. And so we don't have like a ton of stuff that I need to keep up with or plan for. And I use it more as like a record book just to keep track of what we're doing and our days and that kind of stuff. But I wanted to show you what it looks like. How do I use it? Because it's got a lot of things in there that are not really homeschool specific, like places to put seating charts and grades, for a whole classroom of students, and a communication log and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to show you how I've kind of adapted it to work for us and to fit our homeschool. Also, the insides are almost identical. So if you're thinking about purchasing for this next year, the main layout looks exactly the same. So all the pages, the colors are different, the font might be a little bit different, but other than that, the insides are the same, like the same pages and the same information and all that kind of stuff. So you can look at how this past year, how I've used it, and then translate that to this coming year if you're going to get the planner. So let's flip the camera around and I'll just do a quick flip through of the planner with you so you can check it out. Okay? All right, so here we go. So I've got my contact information here. And then on this first page, this part is, I covered it up, but it is contact information as well. And so email, phone, address. This is the new one that's coming out this week, but same idea basically. You can see it compared to last year. So put name, our school name. In Kentucky, we're supposed to name our school. So I did the school year, and then I just wrote what grades my kids are, because if I ever look back to this in years, in the future, who knows if I'll actually remember. So I put that in there. And then over here, I wrote down the Kentucky requirements. These are our actual requirements of how much we're supposed to teach and what we're supposed to teach. And so I just write that there for my own reference. And then here I put my kids' curriculum that they are using for that specific year, what levels they're in, that kind of stuff. So I put there. On the communication log, this year, this is the first year I've even used this page. I started using it as a book log. So I intended to wipe that out and put something on the top, but I didn't. And I know it's the book log, so maybe I'll fix it at some point. But anyway, I've just been keeping up with the books that we have read aloud this year. So I just write the month. I don't worry about dates. The book, and then if it's an audiobook we listen to, I just indicate that out to the side. And so these are the books that I've read to them. This year, my second grader, he is reading on his own. We're not keeping a book log for him or anything. This is just what I read with the kids. Then on the yearly overview that shows you the whole year plus some of the next year, I use this to just kind of map out our year. And so at the top here, you can see, I put 180 days. That's not actually our requirement. Our requirement is 1,062 hours over at least 170 days. So if you consider 6-hour day, that's 177. So there's kind of some flexibility. I just went really easy with 180 days. So I'm if we're doing 180 days, we've got it pretty much covered. So anyway, so I just did that. And then I took our main curriculum and I broke it down into what would be halfway, what would be a third of the way, what would be, not a third, a quarter of the way, and what would be 3/4 of the way. And so that kind of, I've done another video on this, but that kind of gives me like some mile markers. And so, you know, in October, we want to be roughly a quarter of the way done, and that would be these particular lessons. So I check them off as we get there. In December, we want to be about halfway done. In March, 3/4 of the way. And then in May is when we would like to be finished with everything. Now, the little circles, these are some dots that came in a sticker book I got several years ago. They are kind of transparent. You can see, I put those on to indicate we do classical conversations, and so I indicate our community days. And then if we miss one for sickness or weather, I mark it out. And if one was added, I just circled it. I didn't keep it like really specific. I marked our quarter way point here, and then haven't marked since then. So I didn't really care too much about that. But that's what I use this page for. It's just really like an overview of the school year, and roughly when I want to be at these different milestones. This page is actually, not that one. This one right here, where it has January, February, March, April. First of all, I've complained about this every year. I do not like that this is by the calendar year, since this whole notebook is for teachers and it's by a school year. Like the book itself goes July to June. I don't understand why this page doesn't also go July to June and instead is January to December. So that kind of irritates me, but it's fine. I just, what I use it for is the different areas that were in our requirements in Kentucky, or just areas that I want to track. So I've just put stickers. These are some stickers that came, I don't remember, you know, I have a variety of stickers from years past. I don't know where they came from, but just a variety of stickers. You can kind of see they're all mismatched, but I just stuck it over the month. And then I did math, language arts, history, civics, science, Bible, fine arts, physical education, STEAM, and field trips. And then I just left these blank. And so obviously we have our curriculum, but I also just kind of like to fill in. And so this is not for anyone. We don't turn this stuff in Kentucky. But I just kind of like to have an overview so that I feel like I'm hitting the areas that I need to be hitting, and, you know, as far as what I want them to be learning or the things I want to cover. But also, you know, if ever I get audited or questioned or whatever, I can be able to show them like, yes, we are getting these areas covered. So then there's the graph paper. I've never really needed to do anything with that. And then we get into our months. And so just, well, I'll see. You know, I put stickers to show which weeks we're on in CC. You can see we had week 3, 4, 5, and 6, and we ended up having like a bunch of kids out with COVID in week 2, and we had to cancel that week and then pushed everything out a week, so I had to change all of them. But, you know, I put some field trips, that kind of stuff. So there's not, I don't really put a whole lot, you know, picture day, that kind of stuff in the monthly. Where I put the majority of our things is in the weekly. All right, so here's kind of what the weekly layout looks like for us. I've got Bible, math, language arts, classical conversations, and other. This year we didn't do a separate history curriculum or science curriculum, so I didn't need columns for those. So I just kind of use these as my catch-all columns. So put that across the top. Also, my kids, we alternate weeks of who goes first with their lessons. And so I write that here so that keeps me on track on whose turn is first. Because if you have more than one child, you know, we need to know whose turn is first. If you watch my video on like what a homeschool day looks like with us, you'll see kind of how we do that and how we alternate. But anyway, so I use this more as a record than I use it as pre-planning. Like all of our curriculum is just, you open it up and do the next thing. And so I don't have to sit down and like plan ahead, like who's doing what for the week. I do that, you know, like I showed back here, you know, kind of like have some milestones to keep us on track, but I don't specifically plan out everything ahead of time. So really, as we do it, I just write it down as a record. So, you know, our Bible lesson goes here and the math. And so I just, you know, I have 2 kids. And so I just write them. At this point, it's just easy for me to write Hudson's math and Parker's math, Hudson's language arts and Parker's language arts. So I write those. Thursday is our community day, so we usually don't have any of our other subjects, but I do write what their presentations were just to keep track with that. I think this week we were coming off of a break, and so we didn't have CC to review on Monday or Tuesday, like a new week of review. We were taking a little break, and so that's why there's nothing there. Typically, it would say like memory work and worksheets like it does down here. And then in other, I usually write, if we're doing a read aloud, or if they're, like when the month changes, they have like a calendar that they change. If we do any assessments, I write that kind of stuff. So this is just kind of catch-all stuff. So that's what the week looks like. I'm very much a minimalist planner or record keeper, I guess. It's not a whole lot of fluff. I just kind of jot down what they did that day to kind of, mostly just keep good records of it. In the back here, there are some note pages that I use, just to jot things down. I don't use very many of them, but I did use one for our budget where I wrote down, all of the curriculum that we were going to purchase and how much it was. So kind of had a budget for that. And then the last thing is the student checklist. Now, so the planner comes with one little ribbon, and so I keep that in the week that we're currently on. And then I also wanted to have our checklist marked because this is our attendance, and so since it doesn't have another ribbon, I just use these magnetic bookmarks that I got from Erin Condren. So I obviously they're not old enough to need grades. I don't keep a grade book yet. So the only thing I use the student checklist for is I use it for our attendance. And so down the side, I do 1 through 31 to indicate the day of the month, and then I have total and I have running total there. And then I do the months across the top here, and then just as we do school, on days that we do school, I put a check mark, and then at the bottom I put the total for the month and then add that to the previous month or months to keep the running total, so that I can kind of keep up with where we are in the year and if we're, getting close to finished and when we're going to be done, all that kind of stuff. So again, in our state, this does not have to be turned in. It's just record keeping for myself, and I like to keep good records in case it's ever needed. And so that's that. And then at the very back of the planner, because this does not come with any pockets or any of the things that the spiral bound planner comes with, I did buy this clear pocket. It's like an adhesive pocket from Erin Condren, separate, and I put it in there, and that way I can just stick some random papers that I may need in there to keep up with stuff. So that is it. That's kind of how I use my planner. And if you want to see the inside of this current year's planner, I have that video separate from launch day a couple days ago, and you can check that out. But that was just what I wanted to show you there. All right, guys, that is it. That is just a look inside my teacher planner as a homeschool mom of 2. And if you have questions, let me know. I'll have everything linked below that I can think of that I mentioned. If you're also a homeschool parent that uses an Erin Condren teacher planner, I'd love to hear what you use some of the pages for that maybe aren't homeschool specific. How do you change it? Do you just leave them blank? Maybe you'll have an idea of something that I haven't thought about. So anyway, hope that was helpful, and have a good day, guys. Bye.